some of my students. Let's see, we've got my student, some students from University of Utah.
Hey,
How's
what's up,
everyone
John?
doing?
It's
How's it
good.
going, Chris?
Yeah, it's good. How you been?
I'm doing really well. Are you
Cool.
in Salt Lake right now? Where are you at?
Yeah, I'm still in Salt Lake right now.
Okay.
Um, yeah, not doing much. Uh, Managing to teach a little bit still, but
Hey, that's
yeah,
great.
but that's about it.
Are you doing virtual lessons, or are you seeing students in person right now?
Um, One of my teaching jobs is going back to in person right now. Um, but yeah, Jeff actually recommended me to teach jazz guitar, one of the jazz guitar techniques courses at the U. So I'll see how that goes.
Oh, you're going to do that this semester?
I don't know. It's really up to the administration.
Oh, okay.
So best you can do is recommend someone, I suppose.
Well, let's talk about that more offline.
Cool.
Maybe there's something we can do there. And one of my students, Philip, is here. How you doing, Philip? It's been a few minutes since I last saw you.
Yeah, I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Are you gearing up for the semester, whatever that might actually be?
Yeah, I'm about 70 pages through the Louis Bellson book.
No way. All right. There's a couple of my friends who I went to Rutgers with who are intimately familiar with the Bellson book and the horrors, the House of Horrors that it can be sometimes. So that's great, man. 70 pages in, that's a big deal in one summer. Congratulations.
Oh, thanks.
Awesome, man. Anything else going on with you musically right now that you want to share?
I've started teaching lessons a little bit, so.
Awesome. Very cool.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, all right, guys.
Y'all.
Victor.
I'm back. I didn't mean to crash the party.
That's why we're here. That's why we're here, is for you to crash this party.
That's what's up. That's what's up. You know, and while I was here twisting my joint, maybe not everybody need to hear that. You know, but who's the brasilero? What's his name? Just a few minutes ago, I'm listening to.
Hello, Victor. I'm Lucas.
The guy from Brazil. The brasileiro.
Yeah, that's me. É isso aí, sou brasileiro.
Tell me your name again. Do I know you? Have we met before?
I don't think so, but it's a huge honor. I'm Lucas.
Okay. Okay. Now, I don't want to crash the party and take over the conversation, but
that's why we're here. You go for it.
But the whole thing is that if something excites you and you got something to say, you know, people want you to hear it. Okay, now, I have a very strong affinity with Brazil. You know, don't get me started. The first time I went to Brazil was in 1978. You know, maybe before all you motherfuckers were born. I can say that, right? You know,
absolutely.
You know, and I meet. Okay, let me set it up. I go there. I'm playing with Woody Shaw, and like you know, we hang out afterwards. You know, in Rio de Janeiro. Did I say it right? Where is he, man?
Yeah, that was perfect.
Rio de Janeiro, right? Was I close enough? You know, to give it proper respect, and so
that was great.
So we finished the gig, and like after the gig, after the concert, we go and hang out, to the clubs, and I walk into this club, and okay, we all have to look at like each other from like where you come from, who your heroes are, and who you checked out. Okay, so here I am, this like Afro American Negro jazz musician, and I walk in the club and I see my all-time hero of the Brasileiros. Okay, now, I'll be disappointed if you don't know who he is. Robertino Silva.
Oh man,
You ever heard of him?
absolutely.
Okay, see, I'm just checking. I'm just checking. And like from all the days that he played with Milton Nascimento, you know, and am I still talking to a Brasileiro?
I think Lucas.
Yeah,
is
yeah, I'm
there.
here.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, man. I'm just messing with y'all. And so like, okay, I have many stories like this when I first met Elvin Jones. With the boom, with the boom, with the boom, and so I walk in there, and here's Albertino playing, Silva playing, and I'm saying, get the fuck out of here. One of my all-time heroes. Okay, like a lot of American cats didn't know who the fuck he was. But the way I've explained it over the years, the best way I can do it is it's like if you can make the translation with the culture. He was like the Elvin Jones of Brazil, you know, and the way that he played.
Hey Victor,
Huh?
I'm gonna just I found a little clip of Robertinho. I'm just gonna play everyone a little bit of this real quick, just
Oh,
because.
play it, man! I'm down with it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Can everyone hear this? Type into the chat if you can hear this. Okay. Cool. I just wanted to give everyone.
Okay. You just got me triggered again.
Yeah.
You just got me triggered again, man. It's like, okay, now my parents who are trying to like introduce me to culture. Both of my parents were musicians, right? And so like I remember this year, and this is where Brazil comes in. And if you guys want to feel it from the deepest part of my heart that left an imprint, so you could buy season tickets for a concert series, and so my parents and me and my younger sister you know, they're trying to buy us. They know we're into music, and they buy this, you know, a season tickets of a concert series,
Hmm.
and one of them that changed my life. And like, you have to understand, I'm 16 years old. I'm 16 years old, and Brazil 66, Sergio Mendes in Brazil 66. That blew my mind. It introduced me to, like, the beat of Brazil. It introduced me because, like, I guess maybe that's the thing that we're talking about, is that every neighborhood has got its stuff, you know, and every neighborhood has an influence on another neighborhood, you know. And I saw Brazil 66. It changed my life, you know. Okay, so um, that was the beginning, you know. And then I mentioned Robertino Silva, right? You know,
Right.
and like fast forward, Jesus, how long? Fast forward 25 years, you know, and I get my first chance to go to Brazil, you know, and the reason I'm talking about this, am I talking too much, guys?
No, man, go for it.
Okay, now the thing that I learned from, like, the elders that I grew up under, Herbie Hancock, Wayne Shorter, and all these cats, the weather report guy, the Joe Zawano,
Of
all
course.
these guys on tour would go to different places. And after the gig, after their concert, after their bread and butter gig, ha ha ha, uh, uh, they would want to go hang out and check out the stuff, that the music that was playing. And that's how the rub of the influence that kind of permeated what I really believe, that um music is all about everybody being influenced by everybody, you know.
Of course.
And huh?
I mean, it's a beautiful philosophy. I mean, and I mean, especially, I mean, so many of those guys that you're talking about, Herbie, I mean, Wayne, of course, you know, they weren't just like listening to that music, you know, Brazilian music, but they were
They
collaborating with
felt it. It
Brazilian.
moved them. It
Yeah,
moved them, man. It touched them,
for sure.
you know. And so, like, all right, there's a couple of ways you could look at it. It's like, okay, you know, you get a calling, you think you got a calling, and you got an interest in something, and you say, oh man, I think I would like to try to play this music, and but that means that you have to study and get a certain prowess together, and you start on your mission. Your mission grows, your mission grows, your mission grows, and then it gets to a deeper level
Right.
of 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 this is one of my I've got a bunch of mottos, guys. You have to bear with me. I got a bunch of mottos. One of my mottos is that you can only see as deep as you look.
Hmm.
Does that make any sense to anybody?
Of course. How do you
Huh?
apply? how do you apply that, like in your own practice, or like in your own like performance and composition? Like, what is how does something like that translate for you musically?
It's like, first of all, to not be a snob. Second of all, to think that you can learn everything. The thing I say to students, I say, you think, if you think that the only thing you can learn about being a better jazz musician but is being hip and hanging in jazz situations, get the fuck out of here. Okay, I'm not supposed to curse.
No, we
I have to
passionate.
tell you this. Rutgers sent a letter out to us and advised us to try to refrain from cursing.
We're cursing.
Okay, so anyway, I got a chance to, like, as I started going on tour, going to different places, meeting different cats, you know, and like, to answer your question, what are all the elements that made you you? You know, the first mistake that you can make is to think that that you can't be the best musician you can be by just going rat-a-tat, tat, tat, tat. You understand what I'm saying, y'all? You know, and and I started studying other instruments from their perspective of how they embrace playing music, and like, that opened up a whole nother world to me that, I'll put it like this, scared the shit out of me. It was like it was like going back to my term. You can only see as deeply as you look. You know. You know. Okay. So okay. Let me set it up. My first instrument was a cello at 5 years old. The reason it was a cello, because I wanted to play the bass, but I was too small. They gave, and so my folks, trying to stay abreast of me, bought me a cello. It's too bad I was too small, because I might be like a shitty bass player today. And so it went from that to 4 years of classical piano, you know, and like, one thing leads to another, one thing leads to another, um, during my classical piano days, I would get like frustrated from my classical piano lesson because it was kicking my ass. And what I would do is I would just start screwing around on the piano. That's how I started composing. Okay. So one thing leads to another, and to try to make a long story short, in terms of like the influence from different neighborhoods, one of the things that I discovered that okay, I'll put it like this, and you guys have to believe in this. You gotta have your go-to songs, music that you listen to, that helps you wake up in the morning, that helps you arch up, that makes you strong, that opens your chakras, right?
Right.
You know, because our job is not just to get us to get ourselves off, but our real job is to play for people and open their hearts and raise their vibrations and stuff. Okay, so okay, I'm trying to keep my train of thought, guys. Okay, so it's like I'm a drummer, but I realized that it was stunting my growth just being stuck into only checking out the drums.
From that
Yeah.
perspective.
From that perspective, from that perspective, and and I'll never forget this, which kind of really triggered it. Oh. Before I forget it, anybody heard of the women's choir from Bulgaria?
You know, I feel like Gustin shared with me a hey
Oh,
Victor,
see, Gooston,
Gustin's
yeah,
here by the
yeah.
way.
I dropped it on Gooston. Yeah.
Hey, come back in, Gustin. Gustin's here, Victor.
Where's Gooston?
Gustin's here.
Is this the same Gooston that I know?
Your
That I
Gustin.
think I know?
Our
The
My
Gustin.
boy?
The same one. Good to see you, Victor. Great to hear you.
Well, okay. There he is. It's like a couple of days ago, I used up a bunch of Gooston's time talking shit. Ah, okay, so when you look at it from the big picture, it's like I challenged myself one time to say, what was the first art form? Can y'all embrace that question? What was the first art form? And like, first of all, it challenged me to even ask that question to myself. You know, and and I said, well, yeah. Maybe some of us drummers said the drums were the first one, beating on it. No, I eliminated that. I'm reducing it all down to lowest terms and just trying to address life. Okay, y'all with me so far?
We're with you.
Okay, so, uh, um, um, I started to go deeper, and then I said, okay, the next to the last one, it's where the women's choir from Bulgaria comes in. Yeah, okay, so it's like the voice, the voice, the voice was before people figured out how to beat on stuff. Okay, y'all with me?
We're with you.
Okay, and so I'm hearing some other stuff.
Yeah, I was playing a little bit of the Bulgarian women's choir behind you.
Oh no, see, you hook it up.
I'm hooking it up.
You hooked it up, man. I was on the late show. Let me tell you, these women, let me tell you, these women made me deeper, you know, because first of all, they walk in, they all look like cleaning ladies. They all look like humbly, dressed like they're cleaning toilets and everything, you know, and say, okay, all right. So, the thing about them, you know, when I say that I'm a drummer that likes to hang out with musicians. I'm a drummer that hangs out with musicians. The thing that I got from the women's choir from Bulgaria that really made me like pay attention to it is that okay? Westernized Americans or people, period, they have a hard time dealing with a major or a minor second.
Hmm.
Okay, now, Jeff, I can mess with you with this, you know. Okay, so it's like okay, a major second, and okay, a major second, right? A
Right.
minor second is and there's that polarity to it, man.
Hmm.
That has magic to it. And I I learned a way of really embracing over the world. You got to give it up to them. You know, like when I say every neighborhood has got its stuff.
Right.
Every neighborhood has got its stuff, and so like when I experienced the the women's choir from Bulgaria, it like okay, without getting into like metaphysics, but the connection that it hooked up with me was like I knew it. I could hear it. I knew what it was about. And and it resonated with me. Because like okay now, say you're average, you're average like American. I'm not trying to just be humorous, but yes I am. Your average American, it could be a major second or a minor second, but their tendency is to want to resolve it to either side. Okay,
Hmm.
now the minor second has more tension that makes them want to resolve it because the neighborhood that they grew up in was not aware of that tension. Okay, all right, John,
Yes, sir.
hum, hum a note, hum a note. Okay, okay, so that was the major second, right? You
I don't
still
know that.
there?
I'm still here. It didn't come through too well for me. Sorry.
Okay, you you,
Want
you
to do it
went
again? Want to try again?
major second is that's the major second. But
I
the
think we got
shit
that.
that's the motherfucker that's the bitch is the minor second. So high and like there is magic in that. You know, there's there is serious magic in that. That that tension, the tension of the notes. You know. Uh, um. Okay. I don't
You
know
know,
how I got off on this story.
no, that's
You know.
perfect. I feel like that transitioned us perfectly into a question that we just got from the audience. So, um,
Okay, I'm listening. I'm listening.
Matt Gorduke is here, and he wants to chat with you a little bit about how you choose chords, your chord choice, and what influences you in harmony. So I'm gonna ask Matt to unmute, and Matt,
Oh,
feel free
I'm
to jump
unmuted.
in and
it's a
let's
great
chat.
question. I'm
Hi,
so
Victor.
thankful. I am so thankful that he asked that question, man. I am
Yeah,
so
it's
thankful. You
of
know,
course, it's
because
yeah.
it's like I like the kid. I'm a drummer that hangs out with musicians. I started trying to screw around composing music when I was 14. And for a long time, man. And okay, now I'm telling you this story from my honest to God heart, right? Okay, you know, straight up. It's like, all right, now I started off just like screwing around at the piano because I got frustrated with my classical piano lesson. Ah, you know, and so I would start messing around. But I had a cousin. I had a cousin who was into composing, and and I never thought about that before. Make up your own songs. You know, that had not occurred to me by that time. You dig what I'm saying? And so he came to town to visit. Oh, there's another story about that. About anyway, my cousin's father delivered Bobby Hutcherson. That's another story. But anyway, uh, uh, um, um, so he was the one that introduced me to the fact that especially if you have any kind of knowledge of the keyboard, you can sit down at the keyboard and make some shit up. You hear what I'm saying, man? Okay.
Absolutely.
Now. One of the points I want to say is that we might say we're not qualified. It's like that movie. I'm not worthy. I'm not. We're not qualified. To like, you know, to try to make an attempt at writing a song. It's like, who do you think you are? You know what I'm saying? You haven't studied, in all of this. Okay, that's how I started. Okay, and like as time went on, like when I say I'm a drummer that hangs out with musicians, ah, ha, 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 I would like, I would like go to guys. Oh, okay, yeah, I went to college. I went to college and studied harmony, but that was like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this term, figured bass.
Yes.
It was a classical thing about harmony. Okay, now, that was my introduction of harmony through supposedly going through a formal educational system. Yeah, I went to college. So what? Uh, 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 um, 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 it wasn't all that I got,
Right.
you know. So, so, um, I started screwing around at the piano, and and like I started off with trying to like, okay, this is me and my boys, we're like 14, 15 years old, and we we got, as you would say, a garage band. you know,
Hmm.
but we have to figure out what we're gonna play, and so like I would write out Horace Silver tunes.
Mm.
I could, because of my classical piano stuff, I could transcribe the melody, you know, da-ba-da, and because I'm a drummer, I could figure out the beat, and also I could transcribe the bass line because Horace Silver used to always have deep bass lines, right? But the
And he would
thing,
compose them too.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And the thing that kicked my ass was the harmony. You know, I could, I stabbed at it and won sometimes, but because of my limited knowledge was 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 like, for example, yeah, major minor, yeah, 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 but a flatted fifth. What the fuck is a flatted fifth? Y'all listening? Everybody still there?
We're still here with you. Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna play a little Nutville underneath you, Victor.
Nutville. Roger Humphreys.
Right.
Whoa, see, I was raised on that stuff. And so can I put it this way? If you're into respect of the legacy, if you're not into respect of the legacy, well, okay, that's on you. But if you are, every time I go to Pittsburgh, I hunt Roger Humphreys down.
He's a beautiful cat.
I hump him down. I hunt him down and sometimes he knows I'm coming to town and he makes it a little bit easier for me. Okay, now a few times happened to be one time I did a concert with Jerry Allen, another time was something else, but he has this, is it Tuesday? John, you would know. Was it Tuesday jam session?
Uh, Mondays. Mondays.
Was it Mondays?
Roger ran his jams. He's ran that for 30 years in Pittsburgh
Since
now.
Moby Dick was a sardine, right?
Right.
And so there are a lot of times I showed up on that day, with different bands over the years, and I would show up. I would show up and try to sit in the corner that he wouldn't see me.
Mm.
Okay, this is about humility and not wanting to be put on the spot. So I would find a seat, just like I did with Elvin Jones. That's another story. I got a bunch of stories to tell y'all. But anyway, I would find a seat in the corner and either somebody would tell him or he would spot me that I was there. Can y'all still hear me?
Yes, we're still here.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Because I get calls coming in and stuff, and I'm a bad gizmo guy. So what I wanted to do, man, I just wanted to sit in the corner like a little puppy dog. and watch Roger Humphreys play, man. You know, it's like, and so like, and one of the reasons that I would do that, I would find a corner, hope, hoping that he didn't see me, is because I wanted to sit in the corner and just listen. I didn't want, I didn't want, I didn't want, man. Victor Lewis is in the audience. Let's bring him up to play.
Right.
Fuck that shit. I did not want to do that. Y'all feeling me? You
Really?
know,
You just wanted to,
I
it's a
wanted
sign
to,
of
I
respect.
wanted to sit in the corner like a little puppy dog. You know, and 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 listen to Roger Humphreys. I grew up on him. You know, so I don't know how we got started on that story. I'm just going from one tangent to another.
For
You know.
sure. I'd like to go on a tangent with you
Oh, oh, oh,
if
oh,
you'd
oh,
let me.
oh, okay. Wait a minute. Remind me of the last question, because I want to keep the tether.
Matt wanted to
Composing,
talk
composing,
composing, yeah. And
Yeah.
composing. Okay. Composing. Okay, now, I get sidetracked. My ass got kicked when I was trying to figure out the chords uh, uh, of uh, uh, of Horace Silver's tunes.
right.
You know, the bass line I was cool. You know, but that's how I got sidetracked with Roger Humphreys. Okay, y'all still cool with me? And so like I didn't know what like a flatted fifth was back then. I'm 14, 15 years old. You know, and um, every time I tried to like, because me and my boys, we want to jam, and I got to try to hook it up so we can jam, and I couldn't get it, man. I couldn't get it because I didn't know what a flatted fifth was, right? Okay, so time goes on, and time goes on, and like I'm gonna say this again. I'm um I'm a drummer that hangs out with musicians. And so like I started asking piano players questions, and like, okay, I went to college, so what? But I was a classical percussion major, and that was about figure bass. They didn't really talk about what they should have talked, because jazz is really Western harmony with another beat on it. You know, sharp nine chords. You know. Okay, so here I am. Um, um, I'm still on point, man. Uh, um, I realized that I like to compose and make up tunes. You feeling me, man? You
It's
know,
beautiful.
and that I like that. You know, it was like they say, every kid needs to find a hobby to keep them out of trouble. You know, and so that was my hobby. I sit at the piano and just make up stuff. Okay, now as time went along, back to when I say I was a drummer that hung out with musicians. I would accumulate harmony aspects. Okay, so, but but the transition point that I'm trying to get to, man, which is really the real deal, man. It is when I stopped trying to compose music because of because of what I didn't know.
Hmm.
Y'all feeling that, man? Because of what I didn't feel, I knew, and and the block was that I would hear it. I would hear it. Most of my tunes now, I really channel. I really channel. I went through the whole like intellectual thing about writing a tune. Get the fuck out of here. Tunes have to be channeled if you're that certain kind of guy. And so like I went from the point of view of like, okay, let me try to write this. Oh, maybe I don't know enough, you know, to try to orchestrate what I think I'm hearing. And I went from that to like, fuck it, fuck it. I hear the tune in my head, like the band is playing, and
Right.
and like over the years, guys have told me about chords, about chords. One of the first things, like Larry Willis said to me, he said, it's important to spell the chord from the bottom up. And then I talked to other cats and I said, well, when is it proper to use a slash? Because I used to use slashes a lot, because I wanted this to be on the top of that, right?
Right.
You know, that was the voicing I was hearing. Okay, so to end it up, I don't want to take too much time on one question. To end it up, man, I don't I don't compose anymore as like a guy sitting down writing a tune. I wait until the spirit hits me, and when it does, it's the band playing. And
Right.
so thank God, like this is the part when I say, okay, first of all, I say, yeah, I went to college, so fucking what? But this is the part when I say, thank God I went to college. Ah, ah, ah.
So that's fascinating, right? Because it's like essentially you've invested into this reservoir of knowledge and ideas, right? Like you've listened across all these genres, and you've you've traveled to all of these places, played with some of these incredible, legendary musicians. I mean, just in this conversation alone, we've heard about literally musicians you were playing with who are in the history books, right? And then the culmination of that reservoir is results in you being ready to receive that information, right? Like very literally, like you're saying, like channeling, channeling
it's a
from.
channel.
Yeah.
It's a channel, man. Because if I could like put it in a mundane way, the reason all of us are out here, even doing this Zoom and even talking about that, is that it's sometime, someplace, somewhere, somebody plays something that blew your mind.
Right.
And maybe you said, "May, I want to get a piece of this." And that's one of the things that makes the world go round. Because it's like, other than that, nobody would give a fuck about you. Nobody would give a fuck about me. Nobody would give a fuck about Goosen. No, no, I'm kidding. You know, I, I'm just being. Uh, see, you guys understand. I have like a warped sense of humor. You know.
Well,
You know.
Victor, I mean, I feel like
So
this is
did I finish? Did I finish the question? Did I finish the question about
Yeah,
composing?
thank you, Victor. That was very helpful. Thank you so much. That was great.
It's like don't sit down, man. Like using your skills of what you've learned and say, I'm no. Let the spirit, the spirit will call you, and the skills that you've learned are what you have to use to capture it. You dig what I'm saying? Uh, uh. The thing I learned, the thing I learned, man, it's like I'm not. It doesn't work using my skills to compose a tune. You think what I'm saying?
right.
My skills, the reason I studied, the reason I went to college, the reason I wanted to get tools was so that I could capture it with the tools that I learned from being inspired. You know, and like you have to look at it in terms of like the whole legacy. You know, it's like Beethoven. He was deaf at the end and still writing his ass off because he heard it, and
Right.
and he had tools to write it down. You know, sometimes I say that I envy guys who have perfect pitch. You know, uh, um um because okay, here I am. I'm on a flight coming from like Timbuktu or someplace back to New York, and
Right.
and and um and I'm hearing something, and I'm hearing something, you know, and this is back in the day of like the pressman. This is way before you guys' time, you know, where the pressman was you could use a cassette to listen to music. And no, the Walkman was the first one.
The Walkman.
The second one was the Pressman, when you could kind of record yourself. And so here I am. I'm sitting on a plane, and in a way, I can say I'm proud to say I do not have perfect pitch, but I do have pretty good relative pitch, because it's like you have to understand. Yeah, I went to college. So what? You know, and I would start hearing this tune, and I would go from like sometimes it would be triggered from the melody, and I would cling to the melody, and then I would I would say to myself, what is the bass note to that melody? And I pull out my little, you know, pressman, and go, uh, that's the that the melody that I'm hearing is for, you know, you know,
Right.
you know what I like to call it. I'm I like to call it like being a drummer doing the best he can.
I mean,
And
you've done.
so, say it again.
I was just gonna say you. I mean, you've done so much in this music, Victor. And one of the things that I've heard you say a couple times now is like talking about like the spirit behind the music, and it reminds me of when we were at the Vanguard together with Jerry Allen that night with
That's right, right,
with
right.
Kenny Davis on bass, and
Yeah.
you told me something that I'll never forget before that performance. Before I got on stage, you were like, "Summon the spirit, young blood." So I that idea of summoning the spirit, that really resonated with me beyond that night. And I actually I that idea, summon the spirit, resulted in a composition that I haven't told you about till now, but I record and I'd love to share with you if if you'd like.
I'm glad you mentioned it. I'm glad you mentioned it, man, because you just said something. Let me tell you, John, you just said, okay, I've had many lessons from hanging with the legends, man. This is the one about conviction that you feeling me, man?
Yeah.
And, and and so um I used to think in my, cause like I don't know how I stumbled upon it, but I thank you. I got some early gigs in the first 6 months in New York that I'm saying, how the fuck did I get this gig? You know, you know. But here I am. What you gonna do? You know, and like I was okay. First of all, you have to understand. I'm this kid that grew up in Omaha, Nebraska, man. You know, uh, um, 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 whether whether you want to look at it as hip or not, you know, I was on a quest, and so here I am, here I am. You know, it's like I got the gig. You know, it's like one of my favorite sayings I've been saying these days. What you gonna do? You know, here I am. I got the gig, whether or not I felt that I was worthy or not, and whether or not I felt I was worthy or not, whether whether or not I saw all the other drummers sitting in the audience saying, "How the fuck did he get the gig?" You know, and and all of that, man. You know, and what I learned, man, was was this music. This music is a ritual, not a demonstration.
Mm.
And so I was forced to have to embrace that. I was forced to have to embrace that because let me tell you, man, I was so shy, so overwhelmed. I mean, you know, you have to imagine I'm 24 years old and here I am playing with Woody Shaw and Sonny Fortune and Buster Williams. It's like, get the fuck out of here, you know. And I was scared shitless to the point that I froze.
Mm.
And I can tell this story. Boomers, Boomers, November 1974. I moved to New York September the 16th of 1974. And so when I say, how the fuck did I get this gig? You know, and so you have to understand, like I'm beside myself, man.
Right.
You know, in fact, like I called my boys back in Nebraska, and I said, "Oh yeah, yeah. Guess what I'm playing? I'm playing tonight. I'm playing the Boomers. I'm playing that." And I gave them the whole list. Yeah, but I'm about it. Okay, but when it came time for the gig, I was scared shitless. You know, because here I am trying to hang with the heavyweights. You know, and this is a lesson about spirit, about spirit. intellect is one thing you can spend, like I say, yeah, I went to college, so what? You know, this is about what this music is really all about, the spirit. Okay, so now, 2 nights at Boomers,
This was
and
with
like
Woody.
Woody Shaw. Okay, let me set it up. I went to see them. It was Buster Williams's gig,
Okay.
and I went to listen to them the weekend before. Sonny Fortune, Buster, Onaji, you know, um, they had a cancellation
Hmm.
for the next weekend, and the club owner asked Buster if he could make it the next weekend, and so like, okay, now Sonny Fortune couldn't make it because he was playing with Miles. And also, and Al Foster couldn't make it because he was playing with Miles.
Hmm.
You know, and so Buster scrambled and got me to replace Al Foster. Oh shit! Ah, get the fuck out of here, chump! You know, and he got Woody Shaw to replace Sonny Fortune. You know, okay, so it's Buster's gig. The first night, man. I, I, I am I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous. I and this is the way I like to say it. I froze.
Hmm.
I froze, man. That was the first night, and thank God it was 2 nights.
Right.
It was Friday and Saturday because the transformation and what I had to deal with kind of like set up a whole career that happened after that. You know, okay, so it's like in fact, I remember at one point Buster saying to me, "Relax, man. You know that didn't do shit to help me." He saw, he saw I was man. Shit, get the fuck out of here. I'm playing this one at the most famous clubs, Boomers. You know. So anyway, that was the first night.
That's beautiful.
So I went home. Thank God for me it was 2 nights, Friday and Saturday. So I go home Friday night after the gig like a little puppy dog, you know, a puppy dog that got his ass kicked. Uh, 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 um, uh, um, uh, a puppy dog who has to admit to himself. This is the important part. The puppy dog that says, "You sad motherfucker, you didn't give it your best shot. You
Right.
froze. You didn't give it up, man." You know. So the point I'm trying to make is about the spirit. The spirit. Okay, so I went home after the first night. You know that I went through all kind of changes. You know, it's like, Victor, you sad motherfucker, man. You know, this is like my third month in New York. It's like you
Right.
didn't move all the way to New York to freeze up and not play from your heart.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's what I didn't do. I was too starstruck. I I didn't uh, I didn't call on the spirit. I didn't realize that this music is is a ceremony, not a ritual. It's a ritual, not a demonstration. It's a
Right.
ceremony, not a demonstration. This is religious, and we call it spirits. Otherwise, nobody would show up to hear us play, huh? You
Beautiful.
dig?
Victor, I wanna share something with you. This is a tune I wrote after you imparted this knowledge to me, this wisdom. I named a tune called "Summon the Spirit." I'd love to play the melody of it. I dropped it into the chat for everyone, and I'm
Oh,
sharing the score.
I'm down. I'm down. So, if you can give me like 2 minutes, because I'm a 70-year-old man with an old prostate,
Okay.
and I've had a couple of beers, and I have to go make a deposit. I have to pay, but like they used to say, make a water bill. I have to pay a water bill. I'll be
All right.
back in 2 minutes. Okay, we cool? We
Do
cool?
it. Let's take a little break, and then we'll come finish it out. Maybe we'll play the tune, take a couple more questions, and then
Okay,
call it a
I'm
night.
down. I'm down, man. I'm
Cool.
just gonna put the phone down and keep it on, and all is good. Okay.
Perfect. Cool.
Okay.
So, guys, while we wait for Victor, does feel free to come off the mute if you guys want to chat, or if there's any questions, or just want to just chop through any of that with me. That'd be so great. There's a lifetime's worth of stories I feel like that we just kind of got handed there, which is really incredible. I haven't heard from Matt Manise yet. Matt, how you doing, man? It's been a long time.
Doing good. How are you doing?
Good. I just kind of realized to myself that now we're going to find out who's actually still at the computer and who's just who's just got everything.
Yeah.
Who's got everything on mute right now and is just kind of letting it play out in the background. Tyler, what's up, man? Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Oh, perfect. Well, hey, and we reached out to him. So we're thinking about having him for next month be our featured guest. Is he still down for that? Okay. So for everyone with us this evening, we're working hard to find a date next month that Tonino will be available to be sort of the main feature, like Victor was tonight. And yeah, looks like maybe he's got another Zoom chat going on right now, but that's cool because Victor's not short on stories this evening. Adam, how you doing, man?
Good, man. Hanging out, being busy, stuff.
Cool. So I heard we're getting things squared away for the new semester at Iona.
Yes, by being busy, I mean, it turns out there's more admin work than I thought.
Always.
Yeah, and that whole writing the book for my ensemble yet again, which one day I'm going to be able to buy music off of J.W. Pepper just like a regular old person, man. It's one of my true goals in life.
You should be buying music off J.W. Pepper and then giving your students parts to transpose, rather than writing a brand new set of music for every band that you're working with year to year. So for those of you guys who don't know, Adam is the new department chair of music. Is that right?
Director of music.
Director of music at Iona College in New York. and that just became official right this month, earlier this month.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's so cool. Man.
Actually became official like 2 weeks before I realized it did, but yeah.
Right. What happened again? They posted it on the website.
Yeah, they were
before
like,
they
yeah,
told you.
can we just get like a bio for like the other faculty members? I was like, yeah. So I finally like liked the Facebook page, and it turns out my bio had been up there for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But yeah.
There's always a ton of administrative work in the music department at the college level, but somehow even after all that work, there's still loose ends. There's still loose ends that need to be taken care of.
Never enough hours in the day, man. Never enough.
Yeah, that's great. Hey, we haven't heard yet from Nick or Aubrey. Do you guys want to?
Oh no,
join
I'm
us?
coming back.
All right, Victor's back.
See, I'm back because like, you guys have to understand, like, I know you're a little bit younger than me, but you have to start understanding what getting an old prostate is about. And like the reason I'm saying this to all you young bloods is that I'm not trying to rush the tempo to you,
Right.
but it's like my teacher in Omaha, Nebraska, who was my teacher who told me many stories. He said, Victor, if you're lucky enough to live long enough, you get old.
Right.
You know, and so like, I really don't want you guys to even have to address stuff like this. You know, I don't want to rush the tempo
Right.
on you guys, but at my age, a lot of guys died young, who didn't get a chance to experience these issues to give knowledge to the next generation. I mean, Charlie Parker, a lot of these cats, man, they were dead by 50. And so there was no wisdom about getting older that they so, but there were some guys that lived long enough to give a little wisdom. You think what I'm saying? And so like even though it's too soon for you guys to have to listen to this shit, you have to understand respectfully. So I'm not trying to rush your tempo, but this is the thing my teacher told me. He said, Victor, if you're lucky enough to live long enough, you get old.
Right.
And so like at 70 years old, these are the conversations that I have with cats. Besides you young bloods. These
Man,
are the conversations that I have with the older cats, you know.
That reminds me of sorry, that reminds me of a beautiful tune that you wrote, actually, that I'd love to just share with everyone real quick, called Stamina.
Stamina, man. Did you get it? Because yeah. It's a 5-bar phrase. It's a 5-bar phrase. The 5th bar phrase is about getting that second win. Here comes the melody. nothing like playing with real attitude.
Yeah.
Wow, goodbye, goodbye. Trying to give the band a heads up. Here we go. Here we go. Four, five, three, four. The bridge is in four. The fifth bar of the 5-bar phrase is getting your second win. Three, four, five. You know, and it's cutting out. It's cutting out. We can keep it on. Hey man, it's like you paid attention, huh?
You know, I did my homework.
You've listened to you've listened to some music, the same as me, man. It's like the records that I listened to with Wayne Shorter and Miles, you know, everybody get the fuck out of here. I put time into listening to these records to see what I could learn. You know, otherwise, I'll put it like this. It's okay. It's okay if you want to look at it as a hobby. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, I went to summer school. I went to summer baseball camp. Yeah, it's your hobby, but like, if you're having any kind of inclination that this is a calling for you, then you can go other places and have fun doing a hobby. But if you're gonna come hang with cats like me, I'm sorry, man. I gotta be straight up with you. I am not gonna like. I mean, I'm not gonna abuse you. I'm not gonna abuse you. I'm just gonna share what the level is about what it takes to play this music, man. You know, and like one day you say, "Oh man, how come I don't sound as good as the guy on the radio?" Get the fuck out of here. You know, who is this guy, Red? It's like, who is this guy, Michael Brecker, who played 16 bars from Paul Simon's thing that blew my mind? How come? Who is he? You know, how come I can't do that? And they don't think about all the time. Nobody knows the time that Michael Brecker put into to playing that 16 bar thing with Paul Simon. With Paul Simon, that hello, he went to the bank. You better believe that. You know, but nobody thinks about all the time and study that Michael Brecker put into that, and just to play that 16 bar interlude. You know.
And that's one of the real like fundamental rubs I feel like with Black American music in all of its genres and forms, right? Is that like the notion of composition is so fundamentally different from a westernized perspective. And you know, you have like even that example, the Paul Simon example, yes, like Paul Simon composed that tune, but would that tune have resonated to the larger public when it was shared if you didn't have Brecker's contribution, right? Like,
if you didn't have Michael Brecker's contribution, it raised the level because it made it become a ritual.
right.
It may become a ritual. Okay, now.
James Jameson in R&B, right? I mean, the
Oh,
same.
James Jameson. I was just talking about him the other day, man. Oh, man. Yep. It's like a lot of guys don't know who the fuck he is, but they should, because he was on half of the shit that like turned everybody out,
Right.
Oh, okay. Now, since we're on bass players, I'll shut up when you're ready for me to. But a guy who's another one of the like killing bass players who's in a rest home now, Anthony Jackson.
Oh, Anthony, of course.
You hip to him, right?
Of course. I mean, yeah.
And okay, now my personal nickname for him was Spock.
Spock?
Yeah, because it was so important to him to be on point. On point. And sometimes he would like call the other cats in the band if they weren't on point. And it's really about, man, that's the reason like what we're doing now is so important to talk, because music is not a detached, go to college, learn some skills. That is not the magic of it. You still here?
I'm still here. We're all still here.
Yeah. My battery's getting ready to die. It happens
Okay.
to me all the time. Okay, I'm gonna try to wind it up.
Okay.
The thing about it is that before there were colleges that parents had to pay a whole bunch of fucking money for their kids to go and get an education. I like to use the word that way, education. Before all of that and everything, to study what had become an art form,
right?
That became an industry. That's the reason, man. The reason that I'm glad to talk to you, because what we have to do is get busy and keep a balance between the industry and the truth. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
This reason that I need young bloods like you. You know the ways. I'm part of the truth, and like for some reason you believe me. No, I'm kidding. But it's all about what needs to happen now, man. It's really like, it's deeper than the politic dance. It's deeper than the pandemic, but includes them all. And like at the end of the day, man, I don't know if you feel this same way or not, but and I don't want to say this, man, to sound dark at all, but I'm saying this, that I turned 70 years old May 20th
Hmm.
with no place to go and celebrate because of the shutdown.
Right.
Okay, okay, now you have to embrace, like when I say, don't rush yourself. Don't, but like when you hit your 70th decade, just the fact that you're still here is a milestone, you know. And so, what the milestone is about. What do you think about life now?
Hmm.
You got anything to say? You know, and especially if you do something like I do. I'm a product, man. I am a product of the legacy. You know, uh, uh, um, nobody has to give a shit about me, but I'm one of the few left, and like I am a product of the legacy, and what I'm doing, I'm just passing on stories, stories that I got from them. Okay, so now it's time for you to get a little pressure.
Right.
It's the reason that I look at cats like you, man. You hear what I'm saying?
I hear you.
You guys are as the Italians would say, the futuro. The futuro of the proximate generation. You know, and like there's two ways you can look at it. You can look at it like, yeah, I don't care, but you can look at it another way. Is that we need we need alpha males out here. We need people to stand up out here. We need to like get a contingent where the good guys outnumber the bad guys.
Hmm.
You know, and so it's one of the reasons that maybe this pandemic has been good because like I'm an introvert, man. I don't know how to talk to anybody. but I've had too much time to think and talk, and so if I want to leave an imprint, an imprint, because let me tell you, this pandemic has been killing my life force.
Yeah.
My life force that I took for granted, because that's just what I do. Though, you understand? Okay, so rather than like look at myself like I'm dying, I'm going down the tubes. I refuse to look at it that way, and so I said, "Well, what you gonna do with the time you think you might have left?" That's the reason I talk to guys like you
Right.
and say, you guys are the futuro.
Well, man, Victor, it's been such a beautiful conversation. I'd love to play you this piece, and maybe we could talk talk through a couple of things before I let you
Did I
go.
talk too long? Did I talk too
No,
long?
no, this has been amazing. I really am. I think we all just really appreciate the time, and just the hit, the stories that you shared tonight. I'm going to play this tune um, off of my most recent album called Presence. It's got Peter Park on guitar, it's got Guston Rudolph on drums, Paul Thompson from Pittsburgh, one of Roger Humphrey's main guys on bass. Brett Williams, he moved to New York just a few years ago on piano.
I
Do
think
you know
I
Brent?
know his name. I
Yeah,
think I do know.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's also got a, string quartet. And again, this is a
Oh,
piece.
really? Aha!
This is
See,
a piece.
it's like you're not just an ordinary musician.
Well, I took this inspiration from you. It's called Summon the Spirit. I'm gonna start playing it. And there's also I dropped in the music as well as the score into the chat for anyone who's interested.
Yeah. Hold
This is a freebie.
hold on a second, because before before you started, hold on. Before you started, I want to put my headphones on.
I'm sorry. Say it again.
Before you started, I want to put my headphones on.
Oh, okay, cool.
So because like, okay, you have to understand, man. I'm 70 years old. I suffer from a certain amount of hearing loss, but I like to hear it like I'm on the bandstand.
I hear that.
Okay, so hold on. Let me get plugged in and everything. Hold on.
And while Victor does that, I will share. This is a link to the Bandcamp website with the album, and it's got some extra goodies that are.
Okay, I'm plugging in now. I'm plugging in now. Let me tell me something.
Can you still hear us, Victor? I can't hear you. I can't hear you anymore, but give us the thumbs up if you can hear what we're saying. Hey, Victor, can you hear me? Oh, there we go. Oh. I think Victor just dropped himself. I think he just exited out of the call.
His died. He said his battery was low.
I think I'm going to play this anyway, and hope that he can rejoin us. But if not, we'll just take a little listen to the head of this, just the main melody, and then if there's any other questions, or if you want to just kind of have a little debriefing, let's do it. Okay, so let me try this again. Here's the main melody. One time. So, guys, thank you all so much for being here this evening. Especially now that Victor dropped off, I feel like now is appropriate of a time to kind of bring things to a close. But if there's anyone who'd like to jump off of mute or you know chat or give any feedback from the evening, I'd love to hear it, because I'm really starting to think that this could be a really cool niche, especially just in terms of the challenges that we're all facing right now, in terms of really the music industry being closed in so many important ways, to live music, to performances, which particularly jazz hinges on. And um, I think it's a real opportunity to provide a forum for master musicians, and to continue the transmission of knowledge that's been such a foundational component of this music. So again, thank you for being here tonight. And yeah, if there's anyone who wants to come off the mute and just discuss and share, that'd be amazing. Okay, well, in that case, I have current students here. So Andres and Phil and Aubrey, I'd love to get your feedback and Tyler has was a current student this year, but has now since graduated, but has become a really important partner in making all this happen. Do you got any of you guys want to share?
This is Phil. I just wanted to say I really appreciate you and Tyler putting this together. I've been having sort of a tough time, but this really cheered me up, and I feel like I learned a lot.
Awesome, amazing, man. Yeah, I mean, let's all give a big hand and a big thank you to Tyler for making this happen. For those of you who may not know, Tyler graduated with his degree in jazz from University of Utah just this spring semester, and has become like my right-hand man in terms of putting together different videos for me and managing my social media. And without him, this poster and really the nugget of this idea was really born just in our meetings that we've been having to try and discuss like ways of keeping content flowing during this time, because I think it's a real challenge that so many of us are facing right now. Is and Victor even mentioned to him that for him, that his life force, just this feeling of being drained, of being depleted by the lack of reception, that interactive nature between the band, the musicians, and their audience, can really take such a big toll. Yeah, for sure. Phil, I'm so glad you're here, man. I'm really happy that you got something out of it. Thank you. Is there anything you'd like to see for next time? Like, how did this venue, how did this format and this forum work for you guys? Obviously, it was like very particular to who Victor is as a person. Every guest that we invite is going to be different, but are there suggestions that you have for me in terms of like carrying this forward? It doesn't just have to be you, Phil. You don't feel compelled to respond. Andres, what did you think?
I really liked that we got a chance to listen to someone like Victor, and just reminders of like, it's a journey. You need to be humble on this journey. At the same time, really care about your craft and just continue practicing. And also, you can't force things. You can't force things. That's a big thing I got out of this. All you can do is just really keep working at it, and moments will come to you.
Cool.
At least
Yeah.
that's what I got out of it. So I appreciated this. I would like to see more down the road where we just get to hear wisdom.
Yeah.
I didn't have any questions for Victor Lewis because unfortunately I didn't know who he was until today, until I heard about this stuff.
Well, hey, that's big too. I mean, that's a big mile marker too, is just putting, you know what I mean? Not only learning who he was, but then getting yourself into the chat, right? Like getting yourself here to, to be able to get that knowledge. So it's really great. So, thanks for taking those steps, because that's important too. I mean, I didn't think that we were going to be talking about the Bulgarian women's choir tonight,
Yeah.
but that's, so cool to realize like how deep people's listening pool is. Like, it's something that like always really like boggles my mind, honestly, about like the best musicians are listening to things that you would just never ever expect, like that they can talk, really conversant, they can talk about, Indian classical music in one breath, and then, start talking about, the music of Brazil, in the next. And the other really remarkable thing is, like, especially Victor's generation came up like in the late 70s, early 80s, when really like the whole like notion of jet set, like the notion of like the jet set lifestyle, being able to travel like intercontinentally, became accessible to everyone, not just like the incredibly wealthy, right? So like it became possible for like Woody Shaw, like you heard him talk about, like taking a band to Brazil, like wasn't accessible even just like a decade before, to like only to the elite few. Like that was such a, like, even just, I would even argue like 10 years before, like the 60s, the Mad Men era, like people were doing that, but musicians weren't, like, touring bands weren't just like going out. And I know what you're thinking, but like, we're not talking about the Beatles here, right? Like we're talking about groups that are, in a lot of cases, like self govern, like they're booking tours for themselves, right? And putting like these amazing concerts together. Like another one of my big teachers at Rutgers, Victor, I maybe should have started with this, but Victor kind of took the reins really from the downbeat in this conversation tonight. But I met Victor for the first time at Rutgers University, and when I was doing my master's there, and one of my other like main professors there and influences there was Stanley Cowell. And Stanley co-owned a record label called Strata East during the 70s, which was like essentially a self-governed label and publishing house, and also managed tours for a lot of like really incredible Black Americans who didn't have access, because of like the racist superstructure of the music industry. They didn't have access to the same publishing houses, to the same copyright and royalty deals that white musicians were getting during that time period. So they, during the 70s, Stanley Cowell, Charles Tolliver, and a bunch of their peers formed this independent record label, to help concertize, promote their music. And it became a really influential label, particularly in France, which was the home to so many jazz, like American jazz expats during that time period. And what's incredible is that like the economies of the time allowed them to be able to literally like jump on a plane, and put together gigs like on the fly. And I remember Stanley particularly talking about how he would get on a plane land in Paris and start booking a tour from there. Like once you're there, then he would be going, you know, hooking up with different musicians, spontaneously really like putting a, you know, a tour together on the fly, which is just really just mind blowing to think about. I mean, especially now when, you know, as I think we're all now here in the United States somewhere, and we're not allowed to travel to Europe at all right now. But it's really incredible to think about at the time, like landing in Paris, putting your tour together now that you've arrived, and being there for like 2 to 3 months at a time. It's just a really, you know, different mentality, and it's really, I think, incredible to like get the perspective of musicians who were that autonomous like at that time. Because you think about like the tools that we have available now, we have to do that, but like in a virtual environment. To me now, you know, we can't get on a plane right now, or at least not safely. But we can, you know, get onto these various platforms, right? We can have these sort of dialogues, and we can share music with each other, you know, with digital audio workstations. And I think, you know, that creativity, and that drive, you know, that like Victor was talking so much about, I think it's really time for all of us to be thinking about how we can apply that now.
He did say something interesting about music right now needs alphas, and something about there needs to be
Well, that's
more.
true. And let's be honest. He said alpha males, which,
Yeah.
you know, I don't, knowing Victor, I mean, I think that he's talking more spirit than gender, and I think that, you know, that's definitely a generational thing for sure. I mean, especially considering the real like lack of attention given to women in jazz, like when Victor was coming up. I mean, in our jazz history course, though, like I've talked about, for those of you who are students of mine, that doesn't mean women weren't there, you know. And in particular, like, you know, Victor Lewis was Jerry Allen's last drummer before she passed away, just a few years ago. So I don't want to like defend what Victor said in terms of, I mean, certainly that's problematic, you know what I mean, in important ways. And, you know, as his student and still feeling like a student to him, I think, you know, we need to, it's hard to like want to jump in and correct him, especially like saying that in the stream of consciousness, like over an hour into the conversation. But yeah, I heard that too. And I think that like what I would like to take away from that is that like we all need to like be goal oriented. We all like alpha in our pursuit of our music. And can people of all genders maintain that sort of like outlook and focus? Definitely. But at the same time, I don't want to like make excuses, because I mean, that's what he said. I don't want to try and like justify it. That's what he put out there. So, I mean, we all needed to, I mean, you can all take that with your own grain of salt. But yeah, that happened too. That happened too tonight. Anything else?
Yeah, man. First of all, thank you and Tyler for putting this together. This was, I think, a great hang, and y'all did a great job lining up an excellent master musician whose viewpoint is very great to hear. yeah, especially touching on things like, you know, some of the insecurities he felt, you know, as a younger player, like resonated with younger me, resonated with me right now, will probably still resonate with me when I'm in like my 60s. But it was cool to hear him talk about a lot of these things. Especially the idea of only seeing as far as you look.
That's
I
beautiful.
think that was one of the I think that was one of like my favorite things that he sort of focused on over the course of the evening, and sort of not getting too boxed down into jazz, like you said, talking about like the Bulgarian choir. But really, you know, looking for all of these things with this sort of criticality, this focus, this, you know, almost, you know, wonder and openness in a way. It was really beautiful to hear all that.
Cool. Thanks for being here, guys. Let's call it there. Man, this went way longer than I originally billed. I thought we were going to be here for an hour. Turned into 2. So thank you all so much for lending me your time tonight. I'm going to pass on all of our thanks to Victor, and I encourage you to just, you know, let's all, you know, try and take some, you know, take what we found useful, and, you know, and discard the rest, like always, right? Like with anything. But, you know, I'm really excited to try and like turn this into like a little like series of some kind. And with your permission, and you don't have to get back to me right now, but I'd love to use the mailing. I'd love to use the RSVP list as the mailing list for the next one, to try and kickstart attendance for the next installment, if you will. So if that's okay, reach out to me, let me know. If I don't hear from you, I'm going to assume it's not okay, and that's cool too. No pressure. I'm also really inclined to keep this free. So, I mean, I know a lot of you are teaching. A lot of you have students or are in the process of building studios. Please feel free to share these events with them. And I think, you know, moving forward, we'll try and make things more PG rather than PG-13. So